Hello there everybody. I'm so lucky I have Tim doing the videography today. Yay! It always is better when he's doing that. Today's recipe is a huge shout out to Highgate Elementary and all my people and my peeps that I used to work with there, and you know what I used to love? I used to love those chocolate muffins. And people that knew that, or if they saw me having a tough day, I would get these random presents on my desk of chocolate muffins, which was really cool. Huge shout out to Jill Farnsworth because she found me the recipe after I left, and that is really cool. And huge shout out to Karen Casavant because she's really one of the ones that used to go to Costco, get me the muffins, and leave them there on my desk. But now, you know, it was a sad thing after I left Highgate. The worst part about it, I mean, the loss of a job is loss of a job, but I didn't have any chocolate muffins anymore. And so when Jill found me this recipe, I was completely elated. It's a funny kind of recipe because you do it backwards. Instead of, you know how all recipes, you do your liquids and then you put your flour ingredients with the, would be the powder and the soda, whatever's in it, and you would put it into the liquid. This is opposite. This recipe, you put all your dries together and then you put your liquid into it. You don't use the beater at all. So it's really simple. Here goes. It doesn't even take more than a few minutes actually. So 2 cups of flour right off, go right in. If I was doing the old school baking, I would get out my sifter and I would sift all of these flour ingredients together, but today I didn't feel like being old school, so I'm not going to sift them, and it didn't say to sift them. It's funny, the one thing about new recipes these days is nobody talks about sifting anymore. So when you see me use the sifter, you know I've got an old-fashioned recipe because I just don't use them anymore. I'm going to use the rest of my Dutch cocoa from the, or as much of it as I can here. It's a cup of it. It's a cup of unsweetened cocoa. You know how we were playing around last time we were baking together, we were playing around with different cocos, and well, it didn't quite use it all. And this was one of the ones we used one day. So this came from the health food store. It has a little bit different consistency and has a little bit different flavor. 1 cup of sugar, and I'm not going to dip my 1 cup in there because I've got cocoa all over it, so I'm going to fill it up into my 1 cup. Everything is kind of like 1 cup this, 1 cup that. So, like I said, it's a really quick recipe, and it's fun. So I'm going to get this up off the floor. I'm not sure what I dropped. I dropped my 1 teaspoon, so I'm going to get another one out of the drawer. Oh, there we go. So from there, so we have 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of cocoa, 1 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which I always go over the sink. I'll be right back because if you spill it, you're not putting too much into your recipe. There's the 1/2 of salt. 2 teaspoons of powder. 2 teaspoons it is. 1. And this is one of those recipes that, yep, it happens. You use powder and soda. So there's 1/2 teaspoon of soda. And then we mix these dry ingredients together. You kind of stir them together. Like I said, if I was doing it old-fashioned way, I would have grabbed my sifter out and I would have sifted them together. But this isn't like one of those cakes that need to be really chiffonish or anything like that. So they don't need to be sifted together. So I'm just really giving them a good stir till they're all mixed. There isn't any, I don't want anybody to be eating this and hit like a pocket of baking powder or something like that, because that's really gross and it can happen. So, and I'm getting it all over the counter, which is awesome. So then we're going to put this aside. You can see how it's all pretty much all put together. I'm going to put it over here for a second. I'm going to pull out this one. You need 1 large egg, which is right here. There we go. By the way, notice how dark that is? I've been cooking with nothing but local eggs lately, and these came from my sister Shyla. So I'm very excited about these, and look how beautiful dark they are. Okay, I'm going to just give that a little bit of a, there you go, whisk it a little tiny bit. And then I'm going to add my 1 cup of milk to that. And then I'm also going to add, oh, I'll need this afterwards, my 1 stick of butter, which is 1/2 cup. And, oh yes, I have it over here. My 1 stick of butter, which is melted. It has to be melted, not softened, but melted. It's funny because if a recipe says softened, do not melt. If a recipe says melted, fine, but don't. Like if you said, oh, I want to bake something and then you forgot to take your butter out of the fridge, do not think that you can melt it because it makes a difference in the recipe. I did that once when I was making a chocolate chip pie, and I had my butter was all in the refrigerator, and I was like, oh, I wanted to make pie, and I pulled it out, and I melted it accidentally, and it really made a difference in the consistency of the pie. So now I'm just going to stir this up a little bit. As you can see, just give it a little bit of a whisk. The milk is so cold that, look, it's starting to curdle the butter a little bit again. That's kind of funny. I've never seen that happen before. So then it says to pour the liquid into the dry. So I'm going to go back and get my dry ingredients. That milk is so cold. Look what it did to the butter, guys. That is kind of funny, actually. Huh. That was pretty cold milk. But it didn't say to use room temperature milk, so I didn't. Maybe I should have, but it didn't say it. Isn't that funny? And then you're going to put them right in here together. And they don't even want you to beat it up. They just want you to mix them together. As you can see, I'm still kind of getting butter off the sides of the... I've actually never seen that happen before. That's interesting. And I made this recipe too. So they just want me to stir until mixed. Now the fun thing about these, when I was eating these, they always had mini chocolate chips in them. I do have mini chocolate chips here somewhere, but I pulled my cupboard apart, and for the life of me, I can't seem to find out where they are right this moment. So I found these slivers that I got at the health food store recently. See, the little bitty slivers. And I'm just going to use those for something fun, something different. But, you know, if you really wanted to change the flavor of this, they're actually called double chocolate muffins. That's why you have the mini chocolate chips and the chocolate batter for the chocolate muffins. But you could put anything in here. You could put butterscotch. You could put peanut butter. Ooh, imagine how amazing peanut butter chocolate chips would be in chocolate muffins. Can you imagine peanut butter chocolate chips in chocolate muffins? That's genius. I just had a genius moment, everybody. Oh, I love it when I have genius moments. Maybe I'll split this in two and cook some of them with peanut butter chips. You want to try them with peanut butter chips, hon?
Sure.
You do? Okay. I will split this batter up in two, and I will put half of the mini chocolate, and I will put half of the peanut butter. There. So from here, you can see how it's not super dry or anything. It's in really good consistency. You're going to go in, grab a muffin tin. What I do is, it says to grease your muffin tins, but I always use liners. Greasing's done. Don't have to do anything. You fill them 2/3 full with the batter, and all you do from there is put them in the oven and bake them for 20 minutes. Done deal. Put them on a cooling rack. Quick, easy, super fun, and it totally helps me when I'm jonesing for those chocolate muffins that I used to have all the time at Highgate Elementary. Yum, yum, yum. So thank you again, Jill, for this recipe that I've been using since I left there in 2017. And I can't wait. I will give you the report on how it was with the peanut butter chocolate chips, because the reason why I'm not filling the batter with you watching is because I want to split this batter up, put half of them with peanut butter chocolate chips in and half of them with those chocolate slivers, and see what that peanut butter chocolate chip in here would be tasting like. But of course you could do it with anything. You could do it with mint chocolate chips, you could do it with butterscotch, you could do it with anything. So be creative. This is a very quick 5-minute recipe. They bake for 20 minutes on 400, and just have a blast with them. Bye.